I think this is gonna be very hard when it comes to initiating fights because you have certainly disengages, right? You have the Dragon for the Cataclysm. You also have the Aurelion Soul for the Star Surge that could deal massive amounts of stun. But what's next? Ajana could go for knockups, but where's the hard engage? For the side of SB Empire is going to be a question. And for the side of Apex Predator, you have the duo of Olaf, Lulu, a type of synergy, Oriana, Corki, and Garrett. Gonna be a team fight type of composition. What do you think?
For me, actually, Apex Predator has that wombo combo. They have
dominate the arena. So I think Predator needs to focus on that Raven and needs to actually punish him to actually just gain a hold of a potential team fight against SB Empire.
Yes, and we're seeing actually na very passive plays for both teams. They're just playing the jungles. Sobrang basic rotation. Speed, walang rotate, walang early ganks coming in from both teams.
Yeah. So I think this is just a typical game. The duos, a Jack and a Draven for the side of and Corki and Lulu for the side of Apex Predator. I think right now Draven would have the advantage. Definitely, we already have stated it into the draft. When Draven massive into their fights, but Corki, if he gets a lead against that Draven, buys that Trinity Force, first Titan, he's gonna go for a power spike. And even that level 5 as well to go for those poking capabilities. For the mid lane though, Corki versus Aurelion Soul. What do you think?
I think it's an Oriana versus Aurelion Soul. Para sa akin, it's still Oriana kasi it's a single target. Once you hit that command and then go for a dissonance tapos yung basic attacks mo pa nagsa-stack with additional damage. Alam mo yun, Oriana has that better laning capabilities. Pero at the end of the day, it's about kung paano nila gagamitin Aurelion Soul. And we all know Aurelion Soul is a ganking hero at the end of the day.
Yeah. Absolutely. And now looking at the Baron lane, we have a Garen versus a Dr. Mundo. I think Dr. Mundo would just be a sustainable type of champion that could just sustain a typical Baron laner into the fights. Although, if that Garen actually buys Executioner's Calling or someone or an ADC for the side of Apex Predator, this is going to be a direct counter to Dr. Mundo, just slowing down the potential HP regen, the sustainability, and even the potential lifesteal of a Dr. Mundo as well. And I think that's the thing, right? Why champions or why players actually prioritize Executioner Calling from time to time. It's basically a counter to those sustainable items wherein BRK is actually typically prioritized before the patch. So I think it's a matter of what you want to do, what you want to target, and execution. Why? Like,
yes, actually naman, what I don't like about Mundo is he has that slow, he has that basic attack na empowered, but at the end of the day, he's just a tank na yung special skill is not about crowd control, it's about survivability. So wala talaga siyang panghuli out of the backline. He's just gonna be the sustaining force for SB Empire Esports. And at the end of the day, wala siya masyadong magagawa, just tanking the damage. He's just a meat shield for SB Empire Esports. Wala siyang mahuhuli actually when it comes to clashes. And di naman niya masuslow si Olaf. And definitely, he cannot kill that Garen in a 1v1 confrontation. Unless na lang mag-asim si Garen and commit for, you know, a tower dive.
Because you also have the silence from that Garen, right? So it's just gonna be hard for that 1v1 type of scenario. Although, right now, 3 minutes and 30 seconds in the game, we are expecting some resets from both these teams as the Dragon is coming right up. 20 seconds left for the Mountain Drake. This is going to be the first objective into the map. A potential team fight might occur.
Yes, and ito yung pinag-uusapan natin kanina, Infinity. Kung worth it ba mag-Dragon or not. And in the situation, pwede mo i-disregard pa itong Earth Dragon na lalabas. Kasi hindi naman siya ganun ka-game-breaking if someone gets that. And especially, dito, if you wanna go for a Dragon commit na sigurado kayo, it should be a 5-man team. Na okay lang ma-push yung top lane kasi ang wala namang capability actually si Mundo na mag-push. Also the Garen, wala rin masyadong capability pero nakikita natin dito they're already setting it up, maybe a bait dragon. para dito sa kanilang first clash.
Yeah, they're just sitting around. They don't want to make huge risks that could potentially lead to a huge disadvantage for the side of Apex Predator. So I think that was a bit smart to just back off a bit. They know Renzo actually came back off, then to go for a stun, a potential massive play. Yeah.
Actually, walang contest masyado. They just damage the team of SB Empire Esports. Habang gumagawa ng pangarap ni Sophia sa Karen. Pero as we can see here, there is gonna be a commit for SB Empire Esports. They use the maximum standard para makapasok. Cataclysm is gonna be proc down to trap that Olaf. And he gets caught out with the Voice of Light. And look at that Tempest getting a two-man hit combo. Pero habang sinasabi natin, the first turret is already taken by the side of Apex Predator. The gold lead is slowly leaning to the Apex Predator side, even though they lost one man in that clash.
A good action reaction of the Apex Predators. You know what? You can take him out and break, but we're gonna take the top first blood, which will lead us to a gold lead. And yes, that's 500, 400 gold lead, but that is still a lead against Team SB Empire, which actually took the first objective in this game. So that was a smart move by Apex Predator. But now, we're slowly creeping into the timer of the Rift Herald once more. A potential team fight source. Now that the blue side has dominance onto this pit, this is going to be very interesting to see how Apex Predator is going to approach the Rift Herald's pit.
Yes, ang pinag-clear ngayon nila dito is Orielso because Orielso has a Comet of Legend para pag nag-clash sila going into the Rift Herald, mako-caught up sila with the Star Surge. And this is gonna be, nakikita ko very smart play kasi mid laner si Orielso pero switch nila talaga sa bottom lane just because he doesn't need a teleport to go to a clash. And nag-Ragnarok na dito si Olaf going for a kill on Pabu. Pabu is shredded by the Gatling gun of that Corki and he falls down under the 4-man onslaught of Apex Predator.
Now, with the Dr. Mundo slain, they have the member advantage. They're now going in for the Rift Herald, but SB Empire doesn't want to give this through because they've already lost one objective against Apex Predator.
Yes. Nawala na yung first turret nila and they're gonna be bagging that Rift Herald. So they have already a pushing potential, especially if they see that SB Empire Esports is gonna group in one lane. That is gonna be a winning condition kasi definitely paglabas ng Rift Herald at nakita ng Apex Predator that there is gonna be a moment of truth where they can use that Rift Herald para mag-push. Kasi usually group up ng SB Empire Esports.
Yeah. And now, Corki. Did you see Executioners calling first item? Their counter to a Dr. Mundo. And yun ang sinasabi ko kanina eh. When you have a Dr. Mundo, you want to prioritize that Executioner's call because that is the direct counter and that just negates the potential HP region and the HP steal of the Dr. Mundo. That was a smart move by Corki right now. And currently we're sitting at a 1.2k gold lead for the side of Apex Predator. Now the question would be if they could balloon it into a 2k gold lead, a 3k gold lead. Kasi yung mga champions is scaling. So they really need those golds to come through for them to really just dominate the game.
Yes, and especially sobrang hard counter na agad si Pabu because when he uses his ultimate, may reduction agad sa buhay niya and we're seeing harassment coming in from Olaf, Lulu, and that Corki onto the bot side. Pero nag-group up na naman sila dito into one part of the map which is medyo nahihirapan ng SB Empire Esports. Because every time that they group up, someone will take an objective, a tower, or maybe for example, a Rift Herald under their noses. Wala silang magawa kasi laging kitang-kita sila and nababasag sila lagi sa Vision Wars.
Now, nakuha sila ng turret. It's just basically wave control for them, for the side of Apex Predator. Ayaw nila magbigay ng kills for the side of SB Empire. Since they already have the advantage, once you get the kills for the side of SB Empire, sila na yung mag-lead. And when you have a Draven to the enemy team, when that IE comes through, it's basically damage galore for the side of SB Empire. Although, it's now going to be the initiation of Cloud Rage for the side of Apex Predator.
Yes, and it's going to be a Demacia Justice going under that Mundo, erasing him from the map. And this day always gets picked, that Mundo always gets picked off. And nakakatawa because here the Cataclysm is gonna get a hit on that Garen. Garen is too tanky using the courage to to get most of the damage mitigation. Pero ngayon na, pumasok na naman ang Dimasin Standard, pero wala pa rin connect, walang tinamaan, walang na-knock up, and I think the Dragon is gonna be up for grabs since the Rift Herald is now pushing into the mid lane.
Gusto yung ginawa ng Apex Predator. They have the member advantage already, then place a referral into the mid lane. Let's just secure more objectives, right? And let's just confuse SB Empire at this point, kasi kailangan nilang puntahan yung isang bagay. Hindi naman pwede sila mag-split, because if they split, that's basically Apex Predator gonna get that member advantage and dominating that fight. So, SB Empire, you know what? You can take the Cloud Dragon, but we'll defend the mid lane. Kasi pag binigay nila to, that is gonna be map control for the enemy team, right? And you really don't want to give that, because that is gonna open up the jungler for the side of Apex Predator at the same time. So, smart move by the side of SB Empire. Although right now, it's gonna be the Baron Nashor available into the map. I'm expecting a fight to come through a single kill. May it be key players. The Jarvan 4 is key. The Aurelion Soul is also something that could be targeted by the side of Apex Predator before they could go to the Baron Nashor and secure that objective.
Yeah, definitely. Once, sabi ko nga, Dr. Mundo is the meat shield for SB Empire Esports. Pag hindi nila sustain tong meat shield na to, they're not gonna win the clashes kasi no one's gonna front. Yes, you have a Jarvan, but at the end of the day, naka-black cleaver lang siya. Hindi niya pa kayang i-sustain yung clash for his team. Kailangan pa niyang hintayin yung late game to go for to be an effective tank. And kaya nga kumukuha ka usually ng Jarvan is for the pick-offs. Pero ngayon nakikita natin SB Esports is not able to get a pick-off from Apex Predator. So hindi ko alam kung ano pa yung kailangan nilang gawin para lang ma-turn around to their side, the momentum of the game.
Absolutely. 3k gold lead right now to the side of Apex Predator. They're taking it slowly but surely. The map control is open. They get killed. Janna has been slain. And this is the kill that they're looking for. Not exactly key roles, but still gonna provide them member advantage. And considering as well that the side of SB Empire actually lacks those initiations and those CC totals, it's gonna put them at an advantage when it comes to team fights. And if ever SB Empire contest, they're gonna get the lead.
Yes, and I'm seeing here a lot of ultimates is still available for the SB Empire Esports. And yes, the Baron is taken back. Cataclysm is gonna be used by Jarvan to try to attempt to steal that Baron. But the damage is not gonna be enough. And they take the Baron and they take the kill. What a bad trade for SB Empire.
And what a good trade for Apex Predator, right? Oh, that was an absolute good trade. 3-kill lead right now for their team, taking 2 objectives, and that is Baron Nashor. And you'll take it any other day. And to utilize this very well, you need to pressure in all lanes. Not specifically try and aggress, try and overextend, but more of give the buffs to the minions for the minions to actually have that natural lane pressure onto the lanes, which will actually give the enemy team a confusion on what we're supposed to do. What are we gonna prioritize? Are we gonna prioritize the mid lane? Are we gonna prioritize the top lane? The trick here is to just pressure in all lanes. Because right now, look at that. SB Empire doesn't know what to do. If they leave the mids open, it's gonna open up the map. And map control is going to decide for Apex Predator at that point. So, smart move right now by Apex Predator. Not necessarily diving into the matchup, but just giving the Baron buff to the minions to push in.
Yes, yeah, very, very smart play coming in from Apex Predator. Very, very clean. Every time they get a pickup, they get more objectives. The Shockwave is gonna get a hit. Almost deleting that Draven from the map. Napakasakit ng isang Orianna. Orianna just doing a really good job on poking down the champions coming in from SB Empire Esports. And now they're gearing themselves and pressuring on them.
I know, right? They talk potentially every single inner turret available in game, and they're not stopping. They're going in for the mid lane. They're gonna get this mid inhibitor turret. So now the base is open. The map is open for the side of Apex Predator.
Yes, and there is an objective ready for the taking. Infernal Drake is already in the map, and now they're gonna be rotating and try to get that Drake. And I feel like SB Empire Esports doesn't have the capability, the firepower to outmatch Apex Predator to contest this effective.
Absolutely. I think they really lack on those CC potentials. I think they went more for damage. They went more for ganks. So when it comes to a team fight, you're basically just standing still, trying to get a lead because you have the Orianna with a shockwave, right? You have the silences that comes through that could just negate Unreal Soul for that Star Surge could negate the ultimate of Vajana to go for the knockouts when it comes to team fights, and even that Cataclysm as well when it comes down to it. So right now, that dance now available for that Raven Infinity Edge and Rapid Fire Cannon. This is a potential opening for them to deal massive amounts of damage, but I am expecting Apex Predator to prioritize that Raven into the backside to actually gain a lead against the Emperor on a 5v5 situation.
But this is going to be hard right now. Most of the objectives, you have the Infernal Blade, you have that, the Baron buff is already gone, but still, the damage is going to be felt. They have a 12k gold lead above Empire Esports. And as the game is rolling, they don't have a chance. Apex Predator is not showing any kind of weakness that SB Empire Esports can exploit. And this is a smart play as a pro player. If you need to play it slow, you need to play it safe. You can play it aggressively, but still, you need that aggression to be controlled. And Baron Smasher is now fun. And I think this is also going to be a free Baron for the side of Apex Predator.
Although SB Empire should not be giving this to the side of Apex Predator, because if they do, that potentially inhibitor turret is going to fall down. 2 inhibitor turrets left as Jarvan 4 comes through.
I felt like that was needless. Imagine standard. You don't have vision, you don't have anyone to support you, and still you go in. That's suicide without any training.
And I like the Baron utilization here because the wave control is in favor to the side of Apex Predator, right? So you have the wave pushing, add on to a Baron buff, that's basically a free turret for your team. So right now, 2 inhibitor turrets are falling down to the side of Apex Predator, and now they look to finish the game.
Yes, and more of the Eye of the Storm is going to be used to knock most of the members, but it doesn't really matter because the Dimash Injustice is going to be used, and Apex Predator is going to finish this with a turret with the Nexus block, and the victory goes to Apex Predator in the round 1 of the Best of 3 series.
What?
A bit. Maraming salamat siyempre kay Vittorio and of course Infinity, no? And the thing here is that it's a low kill count na game. I would really agree on the point of Vittorio saying that this is a very controlled game. Kung gusto nyo malaman kung gaano ka-controlled yung game, silipin natin yung graph